line is now comfortably in favor of the advances. That's the strength of momentum. Tata Power is the next corporate we are speaking to. Revenue has seen a 48% rise due to higher plant availability in Mundra and higher sales across distribution companies. Further, Tata Power has also commissioned 600 megawatt large-scale EPC project. To discuss this, we are joined by Praveer Sinha, MD and CEO at Tata Motors. Mr. Sinha, good morning. Thanks a lot for joining us. Before we discuss your numbers, I wanted your thoughts first on this new scheme launched by the Prime Minister on the Discom sector and revival of that. How different do you think it is compared to the previous ones? And what's your first view on that?
Good morning and thank you for having me on the show. First of all, I think Government of India has been taking huge steps, not only in the Discom reforms, but also on the renewable area, where they have come with the RPO obligation of 47% by 2030. Going to the Discom reforms, I think the 3 lakh crores of support that will be provided to the states, not only to improve the smart metering part of it and its implementation, but also to support them for various other automation and IT related solutions, whether it is in terms of upgrading their billing infrastructure or the automation that needs to be done for the SCADA system, and also the back end of the network support that has to be provided. So I think it's a very welcome step, considering that Discoms have been the weakest link in the chain of power sector. And if we have the reforms in the distribution sector and the changes that are envisaged, then the whole power sector will improve drastically. And this is a very welcome step. The earlier it is implemented, it will start reaping the benefits to the Discoms, as well as to the generating companies and transmission companies who are dependent on the Discoms for getting their payment, and also to the consumers, because a better quality service will come to the consumers. They will be able to get more reliable power as well as better customer service. So I think all in all, it's a very welcome step.
Okay, Mr. Sinha, good morning. Always a pleasure speaking with you. I also wanted to ask you about this National Solar Rooftop portal that the Prime Minister launched. Are you a likely beneficiary, or is Tata Power a likely beneficiary of this? I understand that you have an order book of about 205 megawatts of rooftop solar. But can you tell us a little bit more about what is the kind of opportunity that you see here?
It's a great opportunity, and I think that renewable energy gives the opportunity where you can have distributed generation. We ourselves have seen huge amount of growth in last few years. We've actually crossed in rooftop 1,000 megawatt of rooftop that we have installed cumulatively in last few years, and especially in last 3 years. I would like to tell you that our growth has been nearly 10x from what we were doing in 2018-19. And this is one of our focus areas. We will make this a $1 billion business in next 3 to 4 years. And we feel that this is a win-win for everyone. It gives the power to the consumers to generate their own power, as well as use it and give the rest to the grid. It also is very cost beneficial. And of course, it drives the sustainability angle that is very important now, considering the type of weather changes and the climate changes that we are seeing globally.
Okay. What's happening on Mundra? If you could give us an update on that and in terms of, turnaround on that, Mr. Sinha?
So on Mundra, on 5th of May, Government of India gave directions under Section 11, which means that the plant has to run and it has to be on a full cost plus basis. So there's a full pass-through of cost from that date. This is valid, of course, till 31st October, and we may see an extension of this. We are parallelly also in discussion with Gujarat to see that how on a long-term basis we can come to an amicable settlement. And we do hope that somewhere near what Section 11 has given and what is being proposed by Government of Gujarat and us, somewhere very close to that, we will be able to settle very soon.
Okay. Mr. Sinha, just coming back to the earnings, since that was one of the reasons why we've called you on board, I wanted to know why there's been such a sharp rise in receivables this time. Your receivables have gone up 60% year on year and 42% quarter on quarter, almost sitting at 9,500 crores of receivables. Are you facing pressure there, and do you think it could continue?
What happens typically in summer months, there is huge consumption increase. In fact, what we have seen in both Delhi and Odisha Discom, the demand has gone up by nearly 35%. And what happens is you typically bill them in the month of May and June, and your payment comes in the month of July, August. So this is only a temporary phenomena. And that's why we look at it from a 12-month cycle rather than a 3-month cycle, because the billing and the consumption are in a different month and the collection is in a different month. So this is one reason. The second is also that before the impact of basic customs duty came on solar panels import, we had imported large quantity of solar panels before 31st March. Which is getting liquidated, and by Q2, most of that will get liquidated and we'll get the money for that. So this is a temporary phenomena, and I think we will be taking care of it in the subsequent quarters.
Mr. Sinha, just to go back to Mundra for a bit, assuming that the arrangement, which is with the full cost pass-through, does not last beyond, I think, 31st of October, right?
Yeah.
So assuming if it, let's hope it does, but if it doesn't, what will you do then? I mean, and are you confident you'll be able to kind of strike some sort of an arrangement with individual states? Where are we in that process of negotiation, which you said are underway?
Yeah, it's in very advanced stage, and now that the benchmark has been set by Ministry of Power in terms of the indicative tariff that they had indicated and what CERC will determine. So it becomes something as a benchmark for fixing what should be the arrangement that we should have with the procurers. So we are very confident that it will be somewhere very close to the tariff which has been fixed by Ministry of Power, and also whatever CERC will decide. And we are very close to deciding. Hopefully in next few weeks, we should be able to close this.
So states are okay. States are broadly, I mean, are on board. Just finalizing.
Yeah. So basically, once Gujarat, which has nearly 50% procurement, once they finalize it, the others will also follow. Because again, Section 11 is applicable to all the 5 states. And seeing that how in recent months there has been a spurt in demand, and also the increase in prices of power through the exchange, most of the states will be very, very keen to finalize this and take it forward.
Okay. Now, Mr. Sinha, clearly it looks like investments are coming back in the power space, right? This is one space which was sort of didn't have new capacities, didn't have too many sort of investors. Do you think that the things are finally changing?
I get a very good sense, especially considering that some of the recent decisions of the government is supporting this. As I have earlier also mentioned, that the weakest link has been the distribution sector. And while there is huge appetite for renewable power, huge appetite for transmission business and the other related businesses, the cleaning up of the distribution sector in terms of making them financially sustainable is the challenge. And with this type of support that the government has come specifically focused to improving the distribution sector, I think we will be able to add capacity. Capacity addition is something that can easily happen. There are a large number of investors globally who are interested, apart from large Indian investors. And considering that India has an opportunity to really leapfrog in terms of using renewable energy, I think we are in a sweet spot, at least in this decade.
Okay. Sir, just one final question on this stake sale in Tata Renewables. Since renewable energy is the big thing, wanted to understand how much are you comfortable doing in terms of dilution going forward?
Well, right now, whatever we have done, this is more than adequate for next few years. And we will go and have the growth what we have planned for next 3 years. and thereafter only we will take a call what is to be done.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Mr. Sinha, for joining us and running us through all of that. Thanks indeed for coming on here today on CNBC TV 18. Look at Kansai Nerolac. It's up 12% now. I mean, it's coming up as a big gainer. And I was talking about paints as a space earlier. Kansai is up 12.